What is going on, everybody? Elliot here from MovieFiles, giving you all my pre-thoughts before seeing the new Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, I think is the title of this third one. Before we go into it, I'm very excited for the film, but do me a favor. If you click on this video, thank you, first and foremost. Do all the YouTube algorithm stuff. If you can like the video, share the video, but more importantly, leave your thoughts in the comments, your anticipation level, and all that good stuff. And also consider subscribing. So before going in, I'm running a little bit behind, so I want to make this as quick as possible. I'm really looking forward to this one. I love the first Knives Out. The second one is solid. I don't revisit it as much as I do the first one, but seeing the trailer for the new one, the cast, I love. Of course, you got Daniel Craig coming back, Cailee Spaeny, Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Mila Kunis. I mean, the cast is like ridiculous. Like, I'm really excited for this cast. It's, from what I heard when it played at Venice Film Festival, one of the festivals this year, it's darker. It's dealing with like some religious undertones. So, and it's a little bit more of a harder edge to this one. So I'm excited for this one. I'm a fan of murder mysteries. I'm a fan of this series. I think Rian Johnson is in his bag right now. Him and Daniel Craig are just in sync. I'm excited, man. So I will see you all on the other side. Again, this movie will be in theaters, I believe, November 26th, and then streaming on Netflix sometime early December. So I'm seeing this, I'm recording this on the 13th of November. So you all are getting my thoughts pretty early. I'm excited for it. I hope it's the best one yet, but we'll see. I'll be back, and I'll give you all my spoiler-free review of Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man when you all see me again. Hopefully, it's great. We are talking the third film in the Knives Out trilogy now, Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man, of course, written and directed by Rian Johnson. Just got out of the theater seeing it, and here is my spoiler-free review. First and foremost, I really enjoyed this film. I will go as far as to say, even though I haven't revisited Glass Onion in a couple years, I feel confident saying this is better than Glass Onion. I still think number one is the best. If I were to rank them, I have 1, 3, and 2. And 2 still good, but I was very impressed with the sharpness of this film. And even though I love the first one, this third one, what it has over the first one, it's way more darker, narratively, structurally, tonally, and I really enjoyed that. It plays into what we're dealing with here without giving too much away. If you haven't seen the trailers and you've been kind of avoiding it, we're in this small town, and we have Josh Brolin, who I totally forgot was in this film. He is a pastor, a priest in this small area. He's the murder victim, and we're trying to figure out what happened, but this is where Josh O'Connor comes in, another young priest who's trying to potentially take a spot, and all these surrounding characters. Like, this film plays with religion, or not plays, but it dabbles into the thematic tones of, like, faith and religion, and how people, like, when they're at their lowest, they're so easy to be receptive to just following people without really looking at the person. And that's what Josh Brolin's doing in this small town. He's taking advantage of these people. And it's so well written in that narrative sense of this flock, almost these 12 disciples type of situation where he's like the savior of the town. And it's so much as this film plays into with that idea of the blind leading the blind, essentially. So narratively speaking, this was a really strong narrative. Direction-wise, I think Rian Johnson is in his bag. I'm a big Rian Johnson fan, whether it's his stuff on TV, whether it's Brick or Looper. I think he's a phenomenal director. Out of the 3 movies, this is probably the most, and they all look great, but this was beautifully shot. Like, there are some shots in the woods that are stunning. There are some shots that, we're in the church, and there's the way the sun comes in, and it's a really well-directed film. It's really well-produced. It's I'm nerding out here. Like, the lighting was so beautiful. It's a beautiful-looking movie. But going back to Rian Johnson, I thought that the way he crafts the narrative and the way he structures and builds to things was really excellent. There are some creative decisions, I should say narrative decisions, that don't tonal, doesn't work for me. We'll talk about that later, but I thought his direction was strong. I really like the darkness of the film. I like the themes of religion, performances. I still have number 1 with the cast and the ensemble, how they bounce off each other and how they're in this one location primarily in the film, in the house. And 2 is just, they're bouncing all over the place. But the performances here, and particularly Josh O'Connor, this is his movie. He's the lead. In all 3 of the films, we follow like one main person. Ana de Armas was the main person essentially in the first one. Janelle Monáe was the lead in the second one. Josh O'Connor is the lead in this film, and he is, not that he's out acting everyone, but he's just given so much more to do that and he plays it so well. I wouldn't say I'm new to Josh O'Connor, but, the Challengers last year was kind of the coming out party for him, for me as an actor. I know he's been in The Crown and some other projects, but he acted his ass off in this film as Judd, the up-and-coming priest with his own backstory, tragic backstory, and his faith and what he's trying to do with religion and how he is so great. He is so great in this film. And also, speaking of another Josh Brolin, who I totally forgot was in this film, and plays the main part of this movie. The back and forth between the Joshes is phenomenal. Josh Brolin is just eating up the scenery, man. Like, he is electric in this movie, and it's so, I don't want to give too much away, but he's amazing. Glenn Close is really good. I mean, the cast comes together. There are some weak links that we'll talk about here in a second, and I can't go without talking about, Daniel Craig, as a detective. I wouldn't say Josh Brolin and Josh O'Connor to me are just a level up, because if I'm being honest, Daniel Craig doesn't really get involved into the film until about 40 minutes into the movie. But when he is on screen and him and Josh O'Connor are figuring things out, he's really electric. What Daniel Craig and Rian Johnson have going, their synergy, their chemistry they have, on and off the camera, and how they built this character and built this world. Like, Daniel's great, but I will say Josh Brolin, Josh O'Connor were fantastic. What else did I like about the film? I think, again, the setup, I was really enthralled with the religious theme that they're tackling in this film. Again, these people in this town are like such at a broken spot, and the person they believe in, their leader in Josh Brolin, has just broken them so bad. I just love how this film plays on that idea of how you can take advantage of the weak when they're, weak-minded people. So the narrative really worked. My criticisms, I talked about the cast. I don't feel like this cast had as many moments to really shine. Like, again, you think about the first one and everyone, from Jamie Lee Curtis to Michael Shannon to Don Johnson to Anna to there's such a synergy going on with the entire ensemble. Like, everyone has a moment. This one, I feel like wasted's the wrong word, but I just feel like they didn't have much to do. Cailee Spaeny comes to mind. She's great in the film, but her narrative kind of feels forgotten. Kerry Washington, her subplot with her brother kind of feels lost in the sauce. This is where my negatives come into play. Jeremy Renner and Mila Kunis stand out in a bad way, like a sore thumb. Like, they are, the way the film handles their characters, especially Mila Kunis, whenever she was on screen, I was just like, she's not living up to the weight of what's going on from everyone else, especially when she's on screen with Josh and Daniel Craig. So those two actors and those two characters in general didn't work for me. The mystery. And of course I can say this now after seeing this, but if you believe me, I had my feelings of who I thought the killer was, and I thought the film was tried really hard to make you not think it's that particular person or persons. You got to find out to see, but I kind of knew early on, and I feel like Rian Johnson kind of played his hand too early on, and he spent the rest of the film trying to distract you and give you red herrings, and I feel like it hurts the film. It detracts from certain things, and there is a MacGuffin in this film that makes no sense, and when you see the film, you know what I'm talking about, but just think about it. If you were to do what a certain person does, and it ends up in a certain person's part of their body, it made no sense, and I'll just leave it at that. So I will say the mystery and how we get to the moment it kind of feels a bit convoluted, and it feels very messy when we get to the big, the killer is revealed. Like that was the weakest. The third act to me was the weakest element of the film. It starts off a little rough, but you're building the characters, you're building the world, you're building the scenario and everything. The second act is really where this film shines, because again, it's Josh O'Connor and Daniel Craig going off of each other, bouncing off each other. But I thought the third act was a bit weak. So with all that said, phenomenally shot, well written up until a certain point. Really great performances, Josh Brolin, Josh O'Connor, and Daniel Craig. A good supporting cast, but again, feel like it just wasn't a lot that they had to do, and it just didn't have that same synergy from the first two films. And the mystery in the third act was a little bit weak. So what would I give this film? I'm going to give Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. I'm feeling like a 3.5, but Josh O'Connor was so electric, as well as Josh Brolin, and it's such a well-directed film, produced movie. I'm at a 3.8 out of 5 for this new Knives Out. And again, if I were to rank them, I got 2 at the bottom. Not a bad film, but it's just not as great as 3, which is number 2, and then number 1 is still number 1, like top to bottom, the best film of the 3. But overall, I recommend you all give this a chance. If you get a chance to see it in theaters, I believe it's going to be in theaters for a limited time starting November 26th, but it'll be available to stream on Netflix, early December, mid-December. And I recommend you all check it out. And when you do, let me know what you all thought. What worked, what didn't work. Did you know who the killer was? Were you kind of like guessing the whole film? Who stood out to you in the cast? What didn't work for you in this? And how would you rank the 3 films? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thank you all for watching my review. It's that time of the year. You're going to see a lot of me pretty soon if you haven't already, so keep an eye out for more reviews. Thank you all again. Stay safe. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.